where did your head go?
E-commerce. Yeah, I went straight to e-commerce too. Because I think, okay, slight offshoot. I think the e-commerce revolution, the ramifications are still happening and people are still transitioning and businesses are not yet, they're still not prepared for what the future of commerce looks like.
I went upstairs to get some coffee and I realized that there was no coffee in the coffee pot. And I was like, well, me. So instead I got a beer.
Wait, what PG-13? Is that the 1F or are you gonna?
No, I'm gonna bleep that. I'm gonna bleep it out with the SpongeBob.
Oh, okay, that's good.
No, but I got a beer instead. It's Friday, right?
It's like the classic startup environment. Oh, we've got beer on tap.
We do.
Like, yeah. That's and then the ping pong table. That's the other thing, right?
Yeah, I don't have one of those yet. I wouldn't have anywhere to put it in my house.
That nobody ever actually plays.
No, I feel like that'd be so annoying to like be working and then hearing just like someone smacking a ball back and forth.
Yeah, something that was awesome when I went to Google though was the cafeteria. That's amazing. I want that to be in my life. I don't know how, but somehow I just like the idea. Well, I guess it's called a personal chef. That's what you would call it, right? If you just want food on demand, then, or DoorDash, I guess, but that's expensive. I guess it's all expensive, right? That's how food is.
Where are you going with this?
Nowhere in particular. I just thought.
Did Google had a personal chef in the cafeteria?
Well, I mean, they had a general cafeteria where you could go and pretty much get whatever kind of food you wanted. I'm just talking about like,
was it free?
Startup-y perks. Yeah. It was free.
That's awesome. Mud charged us. It came out of
they
our
also
paychecks.
had these things called micro kitchens. That was a really cool concept too. So in just various places on different floors, it was like a mini kitchen, which is kind of like a break room, but they also had just snacks that you could take from. That was really cool. I took lots of Oreos.
When are we going to Google this year?
We got to get an invite somehow. We're not quite big enough for them to care about us yet. I think the mark is probably at a baseline, $1 million in ad spend. I think that's the absolute minimum.
Is that in a month or a year?
I think a year.
Oh, okay.
That they would give you a account representative that actually has a slight idea of what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, it's not terrible.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right. What are we talking about? Okay. We have an episode that I wanted to do ever since we were in Colombia. While we were there, we actually got a form fill on our website, everbrospodcast.com. This came from someone who was in the graphic design space, essentially wanting to figure out how to productize a graphic design company or service, because he's heard us kind of take a dump on graphic design in the last few episodes, or just since we started. But I figure it'd probably be good for us if I just read the comment or his form fill, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. So I'll start it off. Hi guys, recently discovered the podcast and love it. I've binged up to 15 episodes so far and love the conversational format and down-to-earth advice. I'm currently an art director, which creatively is limiting to say the least. Also, as you stated in some of your early podcasts, just losing the desire to keep working for someone else. In my searches, I haven't really been able to find a ton of creative marketing and was hoping you could help me out, if only through tertiary experience or knowledge. I know you guys have down-talked the graphic design aspect of marketing in a passing comment here and there. I realize making logos and constantly chasing customers for that has always sounded exhausting to me, which is why I've been more drawn to the idea of branching out into marketing, and I'm very intrigued with productizing. Already he sounds super intelligent. Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with web design, logo design, and probably most passionate about motion graphics. I would think there's a market for creating and running video ads in this space, as well as web, SEO, regular ads, etc. And I was hoping you guys could offer some advice. Also have no idea what local niche to target. Anyhow, I've rambled enough and would appreciate any advice you could offer on going into this kind of venture. What products or services I could offer, and anything else you think I should know. Thanks, and keep up the great work. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's the first thing I want to say is thanks back. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Thank you.
I would. Yeah. This was like. I remember sitting in the hotel room. We're all getting ready. I got this. It was like 10 a.m. I think I was reading this, and I was like, "This is awesome," because this guy turns out to be a lot older than us, but he's taking advice from us, which is great to hear, and it's just great to hear from listeners in general. But I started emailing him back and forth of like, hey, like, thanks for reaching out. What are some of the like niches you're targeting, or what are you kind of thinking of conceptually? And a lot of it is like very localized niches. So then like my next question to him was, have you thought about doing anything that wasn't local, like e-commerce or manufacturing, or, something like that? Because our experience is a lot of local businesses is they're going to pay for like a graphic design service like once every year maybe, and it's going to be like a logo or a flyer or something like that, and it hasn't always been something you can just productize on a monthly service. But in our last episode, we had talked a lot about the different positions in a marketing agency, and then translating those to actual jobs in kind of like a freelance or agency setting where you started on your own. That was like a precursor to this episode, because this episode, we're going to take pretty much the worst job at an agency and then turn that into its own agency model. Or just to get your brain jogging on that.
I wouldn't call it the worst. I think for me, the account manager is the worst. I
guess that's for you. I mean, like, do you think an account manager though is the worst agency skill to have to start your own agency?
Yeah, it's pretty hard. Yeah. That's pretty bad.
That's what I was.
Okay, but I want to bring something up that is related to this. And this is, I think if people listen to this, they're going to be like, these are the strangest crossovers that I never expected in a podcast. But I listened to, the guy's name is Henry Thoreau, I think is how you pronounce it.
Wait, like Henry David Thoreau?
No, I'm gonna check. Let me fact check this. I'm gonna get on Facebook.
Are you talking about a poet?
No. This guy is an animator. Thurlow. Sorry.
You were getting confused with the poet. Now we all know you read poetry.
I do like Thoreau. Thurlow. He's an animator for One Piece. And he's American, from what I can tell. And he now lives in Japan to be an animator on the animation team. But this is something that he had brought up before, was about, it's a similar thing, right? Art and artists. And if you want to do that, especially in the US, it's a difficult thing because, what you're looking at is, the one-off jobs. You have the local businesses that need a commercial, and then you can help out for something like that. But it's very difficult to make a established career out of that sort of thing. And that's actually why he wanted to go to Japan, was for that reason, because even the most, the best animators that had even done things like, Cartoon Network jobs, that sort of thing, it still wasn't easy, even though they're the best of the best. So, I remember listening to that and thinking, there's a lot of similarities here, and it sounds very difficult, but let's talk about it. So, Jake, what were your thoughts? What were your initial ideas? Because I spent many shower thoughts trying to come up with something for this.
Yeah. So my initial thoughts were, you have a value and a skill set that everybody wants at some point, but not something that everybody is willing to pay for every single month. And what you need is something to supplement that or complement it that is required every single month. I call them hooks. So with our foundation package, we have one of our hooks is website maintenance. So like we make sure your website doesn't go down. Like we're also more of an operational service and more of like a maintenance service as well. And then Google Ads is kind of a hook too. Whereas SEO, it's harder to quantify in terms of success, unless you're just tracking rank, which again is super subjective depending on what you decide to rank. And I don't consider like SEO our hook at all. I consider that like more of like the value upsell, and what we can justify for our management fee. With graphic design, because it's not a recurring service, there's no hook there at all. And you've got to supplement it. So my first thought process was, what industry could you get into where you can utilize your graphic design services in a way that satisfies kind of your desire to want to keep using that skill, but also perform another service or learn another service that you don't have to spend years trying to develop. And my initial thought was, well, you should learn like basic foundational SEO. And if you're not going to go into the local niches, which he was suggesting, I would do e-commerce, because e-commerce has a lot of opportunity for graphic design artists to create really engaging websites, graphics, and just product images, things like that. SEO on e-commerce is a monster, so it keeps you busy every single month, and not even busy doing technical SEO, just busy doing like foundational stuff like alt tags and header tags and meta descriptions and things like that, which is very easy to learn. The only thing you really have to learn is the actual CMS. So like depending on whatever platform that website is on, like Shopify or WooCommerce, Magento, Squarespace, whatever's being used. Try to learn all those, and then kind of pitch it as, hey, we do foundational SEO, and that's kind of like the hook to get people in. But then also say, but we're also a UX, so a user experience optimization service, and that's where he can really utilize his graphic design capabilities, A/B testing landing pages and sales pages for higher conversion rates. Maybe his value sell becomes the conversion page optimizer or something, because he has this graphic design capability that you and I don't have. You and I are very technical. We're not gonna you ask us to create a landing page and we just it's very formulated, and whereas he can create, if he's good at graphic design and he knows the CMS, he can create some really cool stuff on there. But then that translates into other things too. Like he can get into email marketing and he can make really cool email graphics, and especially with e-commerce, connect Shopify to Aweber or MailChimp, or I think they might even have their own ESP, email service providing software, and create some automation flows within the e-commerce space. Like you really just grow outwards in terms of the actual marketing services you can execute on, but then utilize your graphic design experience in like a user experience kind of way, versus just creating, a logo for the business or a flyer for like a local plumber or something. But that's where my head went. Where did your head go?
E-commerce. Yeah, I went straight to e-commerce too. Because I think, slight offshoot. I think the e-commerce revolution, the ramifications are still happening, and people are still transitioning, and businesses are not yet, they're still not prepared for what the future of commerce looks like. And so I think e-commerce is still, I don't know if growing is the word, it's still happening, and the effects of it are still happening. I think that the future of local business will become showrooms. The buildings won't be as big. They don't have to be, because they don't need to have storage, right? I mean, Amazon's already gotten into some of this too, where they now have physical stores that you can buy their most popular products. I think businesses will primarily move to e-commerce because it's easier, and then you can have
the Amazon, the 4-star store, I think is what it's called. The Amazon 4-star in Mall of America is closed down.
it did.
Yeah. So I'm like, 20 minutes from Mall of America, but yeah, it closed down.
Do you know why?
I would imagine the volume wasn't there, like to sustain it when they could just be on e-commerce.
That's what I think it is. I think they will become showrooms where you, for the things that you don't feel comfortable buying, either like they have high return rates, maybe, right? Clothing, especially, where you're like, look, I don't feel comfortable buying this purely online until I at least buy it once or know like this brand fits me well. So that's what I think will happen. So I think e-commerce is still growing and it's still changing, and people still aren't ready for the full. It'll keep happening. We'll hear about former brick and mortar businesses going under. I think it's going to continue. Bed Bath and Beyond is dead, right? And things like that. So,
but is it dead though? Because I feel like I was just there a month ago.
Okay, let's Google. Let's find out the current status of Bed Bath and Beyond.
Because I hear that Beyond section is really cool.
The first article is Business Insider and says the rise and decline of Bed Bath and Beyond. So on August 31st, they were closing 150 stores. So maybe they're not bankrupt yet. I think it's only a matter of time.
The last thing I bought from Bed Bath and Beyond was a $200 UGG blanket, like a comforter.
Why did you do that?
Because it was technically.
Is it that good?
Do you remember that time that? Well, first of all, UGG blanket is amazing. Like UGG boots, like that. In a blanket. Yeah.
Okay.
But. And it's for a king size. There's a king size blanket.
Oh,
it might have been like $250 because I remember paying a little bit for it. But what I mean by a little bit, do you remember that one time where Google sent me like a $200 gift card?
Did you do like a research survey?
Yeah, I think I did a survey. Yeah, they sent me $200,
okay.
and like I got to pick my place to get it from. Well, we just got a king size bed, and I was like, well, we need a comforter, so we went to Bed Bath and Beyond and we found it. And so and maybe one of the reasons why they're bankrupt is because I bought a $250 blanket for $50.
And the only reason you went there is because you had a gift card.
That's
right?
true. Yeah, it is. Yeah. We might have bought a coffee pot from there. We did actually. So we bought like an upgraded coffee pot. Like I think slightly before that, and it broke in like 4 months. Like it just stopped brewing. And
thanks, Bed Bath and Beyond.
I paid $40 for it. I'm like, this thing is not worth me trying to fix.
Yeah, you deserve to fail now.
Yeah, so then we went to Walmart and bought one of those like $10 ones where it's just like it has an on and an off switch and that's it. Yeah, and that thing is a trooper.
So multifaceted issues.
There's got to be like a coffee connoisseur that's like vomiting right now. He's like, I can't believe you're drinking out of that coffee pot.
Yeah, I think one more is people. I swear they don't know the difference between Bath and Body Works and Bed Bath and Beyond. Because when Jenny was a manager at Bath and Body, they'd constantly say like, "Oh, how's Bed Bath and Beyond?" Like, that's not where she works. She doesn't work there. It's not called that.
She says, I sell soaps and lotions, not towels and knickknacks
and more towels.
Yeah.
But yeah. So okay, e-commerce. I liked your idea about learning SEO to help out in building like a retainer type thing, but I was thinking more of, okay, well, if he wants to start out with where he's at and not worry yet about learning additional skills, the first thing that came to mind is a course of some sort, right? Now, I understand that's not a retainer model, but if you have, I mean, he's older than us, right? He's got a lot more knowledge about, well, a ton of stuff that we don't even know. And I'm sure that's helpful. And when I think of e-commerce, especially, can he share or get further into and find out the best ways to present products, right? In graphics, that conversion rate optimization, especially, right? That can make them convert. What is an ideal product layout? What kind of information do they want to see in the graphics to have people feel confident with buying and purchasing? And that's just when it comes to product layout. You also mentioned email marketing too, right? That's important.
I mean, there's tons of verticals.
Social ads.
Yeah, social. Like, e-commerce has tons and tons of social ads. Just thinking about A/B testing different ads or which one's converting the best. But also, you can provide way better social ads, ad images than you and I can, because we're not like we're borderline handicapped when it comes to anything graphical.
It's true. And if you can templatize them to the best of your ability, 100% do it, because I'm sure there's differences depending on the vertical and the type of niche and industry, that sort of thing. But there's got to be a lot of similarities too. And I'd keep going with that too into even video ads. That's hot, right? Everybody's like, video, that's where it's at. It's true. I mean, people are watching video. Video continues to grow. So can you do the same for YouTube ads, for Facebook video ads, Instagram, etc.? I think that's a very good direction to go with it. But I understand too, that's just a course. And if you're selling a course, it's not a retainer yet. So you can get maybe good one-time purchases. So the other thing I was thinking was, when you make that template library, charge access to it, and then continue to add to it every month yourself. So they'll have access to the library itself, and that's a monthly fee that they need to pay in order to keep getting that. And then your hook for keeping them interested and involved is you keep adding to it as you come up with new ideas too.
Do you have like a software or kind of like library gate software that you would recommend or that you're aware of?
Nope, not at all. I have no clue. I'm thinking like a premium Canva type thing, right? Where it's maybe you give a few for free and then you show the other ones and you're like, hey, these are premium. If you want them, you have to.
I would be willing to bet that there are like, you could probably just do like course plugins or course softwares, and then just have like a library in your course. I know like you and I were looking at doing courses in the relative near future, and there's got to be like a library in there. So a little bit of research on your own part of just trying to figure out, because one thing to do is actually create an agency, which is kind of like where our brains default to, because that's what we want to do. But there's other avenues that you can go down too. Like Cody was saying, you can create courses, you can create like this library of assets that people can pay to have access to. You can also create, there's more courses ideas too, like teaching people about graphic design online, and sell that on Coursera or wherever, or even maybe your own website. There's getting into affiliate marketing, which is a whole other thing. But I think the pigeonhole that people get themselves into when they have a particular skill is they say, I have this skill, I have used it in X ways before. How do I use it in X ways again to then make my own business? Where what you should be asking yourself is, how do I use it in Y ways? So, he's used to doing graphic design for a company, and I would imagine it's graphic design on like different sales materials. Or product brochures or whatever. But then you can ask yourself, how can I use graphic design in like a marketing sense, in a retainer sense? And that's where my mind goes to right away, is UX, like user experience design for like websites. If you have an eye for the stuff you do in graphic design, you've got an eye for pretty much anything. You've just got to figure out how to utilize it. And you might have to do a little bit of learning. You might have to understand that a lot of people view website pages in F shape. So your most impactful graphic design element should be on the top, and then it kind of goes narrowed down from there. And then, but it's not necessarily just doing logo design or whatever you're used to. It could be anything. Jenny was saying when we were in Colombia and I was reading this email, she was saying that her company pays their graphic design on contract like over $300 an hour for their website theme designer.
Yeah, I guess, although that's different maybe then, I mean, those are two categories, right? Because if you're a web designer, you're a dev to some extent versus a graphic designer who's making mostly graphics. So I guess
I mean, but if you're working within like Shopify or you're working within a CMS that has like its own walls, I mean, you don't really have to be. We're not devs and we design websites.
Yeah, no, definitely. I guess mentally, I went straight to graphic design as opposed to web design. But if he's doing web design too and stuff, I mean, that's an entirely different category, which I think has much more potential, like you were saying. But I like how you said Shopify, and I think you could go into the different platforms, right? You've got Amazon, obviously. Walmart.com is growing. That's going to be one of the bigger growing e-commerce platforms. You have Etsy, all that sort of stuff. And then I think this is an industry where if you're comfortable with it and you like it, that being effectively a high ticket consultant, I know that's not what it is, but we've talked about this before about business models and entrepreneurship. And one is like the high ticket consultant. And what I mean by that is the solopreneurs versus the I'm going to grow a team and then make my skills scalable by sharing them out to the rest of the team and then replicate, right? When it comes to art, that's not an easy thing to do at all. So I think that's a good fit. And then the rest is just how do you use the internet to scale those things to your advantage. So I think maybe starting out, if you didn't have experience in those things, then start out freelancing those services at a discount if needed in order to get the experience on those platforms so that you can test and learn what things work if he doesn't know that stuff already, if that part is new. And then after that, I mean, in addition to all these things, I mean, the sky's the limit. If you want to do consulting too, charge really high for it just so you have additional money on top of your, productized portion of it, where it's a membership fee to a library of resources. You can do that for more money, especially if you like doing it, you like the consulting concept. Start a podcast. You're listening to one right now. Affiliate marketing.
Or you're watching it if this is in the future and we have posted it on YouTube.
Eventually.
Yeah, I like the idea of just like you said, the UX optimization is a lot safer. But ultimately, like what it comes down to is like it's knowing your niche. So in this case, like we're suggesting e-commerce. It could be anything. It could be manufacturing. It could be are those the only two niches in the world?
I think that
it could be local businesses too. You could do media companies. You could do
do car dealerships, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. You can pick whatever one you want to do. But I think that they are kind of different. When I think of manufacturing and stuff, there's a lot of money there, and it's not sexy, so people don't do it. Like I think the more boring a job is, I don't know if boring is the word, the less known, that sort of thing. There's usually a lot more money in it and stuff. Because when things become really popular, like DJ, most DJs don't make especially great money, only but do. So manufacturing is also smart. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had somewhere where I was going with this and then I lost it.
I cut you off. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm done.
I'm probably gonna I'm gonna cut this because I'm just like, what the fuck are they talking about? It was something to do with like what he was or what I was suggesting to him. God, I can't remember.
You're talking about different industries.
Yeah, different industries, and then like what he was freelance work. Let's see. I'm looking here. Jenny mentioned you can translate this in industry.
Talking about web design?
Oh, now I remember. No, that didn't trigger it, but I remember now. Maybe it did. Okay. Boom. That's okay. Oh, so we had an episode about like not like we have to do things we don't like. because that's just the nature of having an agency. So when we started, we wanted to just do SEO and Google Ads. We didn't want to do any of the website building stuff, but we had to in order to actually get our SEO and PPC clients. So a lot of the people that came to us either had like terrible websites where it didn't matter how many ads we ran to the website, we weren't going to get conversions, or our quality score is going to be so low. And then there were clients, the majority of the clients who were coming to us at the beginning didn't even have a website. So then we just had to, say, okay, well, we have to offer website services. And even to this day, like, we don't like building websites. Whenever we get a client that has like an adequate website we can take over, we love it. Because it's like, oh, great, this is easy. Maybe we got to build like 1 or 2 pages, and then that's it. And then just like their ad campaign, set the tracking, and we're good to go. But building the website too, though, has become kind of a hook for us, because when we do build the website and they're on our hosting, for instance, they're less inclined to leave the marketing packages, because it also includes website maintenance and hosting, which is a fee they don't have to pay for as long as they're doing marketing. So they don't have to pay GoDaddy, they don't have to pay Bluehost, they don't have to pay anybody, because we're hosting it. Now, if they leave marketing services and we're still hosting the website, then they got to pay us our hosting fee per month, or we do it annually or quarterly. And it becomes that hook. And then also it's kind of like a magnet too. So if a client comes to us and just says they just want a website build, we deliver a really good experience during the website build, and then a year later they become a client, like a marketing client, because hey, these guys built my website and they manage it. On the other side of that too, we've got clients that we built websites for. One's just happening right now, where we built a website for him. We started marketing. He was on for 3 months, and then he stopped because he couldn't handle the amount of leads he was getting. He stopped services, and then all the way up into this year, he's kind of restructured his company where he can take on the influx of leads, and now he wants to get things going again. Well, guess what? There's no onboarding period now. We just literally turn his ads on and then bill him. That's it. And there's like this, when I first started, there was this thing. It was like, I used to read like Jeffrey Gitomer. He's like a sales consultant kind of guy. He's got his own like personal brand, but he always talks about like the long-term sale, which is, build relationships because they could turn into sales like 3 years later. I remember when I was starting this, I was like, I don't have time for that. Like, I don't have time.
Like, I'm signing up for Upwork. No.
Yeah. Like, no. I need clients now. I don't want to put in the effort now and wait 3 years. But like, if you just like live your life, we're getting on a tangent, but if you just live your life and operate your business as a point of relationships, which is a callback to your previous episode, then, then the sales will just flow in. Like, you don't even realize it, because 3 years later, you'll be like onboarding new clients. And then all of a sudden old clients are just be like, hey, I want to do marketing with you. I want to do such and such with you. And then all of a sudden your clients grow so much that year, you didn't even realize what happened. And, I always say this quote, I can never remember who says, Earl Nightingale, which was, it doesn't, everybody's always afraid of time. It takes too long to do something, but the time's going to pass anyways. So that 3 years that you don't want to do is going to happen, whether you want it or not, unless you die, then it doesn't matter. But it will happen. That 3 years will happen. Now, whether you choose to be, in business or not is up to you. But if you are in business, 3 years from now, you're gonna thank yourself for establishing relationships early on.
Yeah.
Finn.
Yeah, I think that combo of building relationships and be so good they can't ignore you, right? If you're good, you're especially good, and you aren't weird, then even if you are weird, sometimes people are like, they're so good, they're weird, I don't care. Then yeah, those things just happen and they work out.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't have a ton other than that to say about this, because again, I don't know. That is how I would approach it though. And
I think this will officially be our shortest episode. Finally under the 30-minute mark. Yeah, so we just wanted to take some time to address that inquiry we got. And the more inquiries we get like this, the chances are you're probably going to get featured. At least your comment will get featured on here, and we'll answer it. Well, semi-live. We'll answer it on the air.
Yeah. Hey, leave us a review. We're supposed to say that too.
If you like this episode or any other episode in the past, leave us a review on Apple, preferably Apple, or Spotify. If you don't like the podcast, then don't leave us one.
Yeah, we don't want your negative.
You can
feedback.
complain to us at everbrospodcast.com.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Please do that. Like and subscribe. Can they do that too?
They can. Yes. If you actually go to the Everbros podcast, you can actually subscribe to any one of our platforms from the website. You don't even have to go to the platform.
Can you like it? Or is it just subscribing?
I think it's just subscribing. Unless we're on, well, if this goes on YouTube, then they can like it.
Oh, we don't have that yet. So just subscribe, I guess, and leave a review because that's cool.
Yeah. We'll send you $1 million if you give us a review.
Don't say that. No. Our lawyer's going to be like, you can't say that.
We won't. All right, everybody.
We won't do that.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode.
See ya.